All right, good afternoon to you all. We've got a bit to get through this afternoon, plus a video which we haven't done for a while. So we'll get cracking. A couple of 50-game milestones. Sean Ryan clocking up his 50th as a field umpire. Sean's actually on the executive of the Adelaide Footy League too, so it's good having him involved. And Sean Sellers, goal umpire. So the two Seans. All right, just a reminder that pre-game, most of you will know this, but just a reminder because the newbies may not know this, but it's the expectation that all field umpires must meet both coaches before every game. If I get a complaint, which occasionally I do, more often than not, they'll mention that the field umpires didn't even go before the game to see him, which happened on the weekend, which I wasn't too happy about. But with those two umpires on the weekend, they were both with their first year with the Adelaide Footy League, so they get a leave pass for this time. But last chance for them. But for the rest of you, even if you have a back-to-back game, you should always find a way to meet both coaches. So if you've got a back-to-back game, three-quarter time of the first game, you can search them out, or as you're coming on to the second one, you can even just go over the coach's bench. It is really important public relations exercise, and it's the one chance the coaches get to speak to you, and some of them are looking to speak to you, and if you don't do it, they'll have that in their mind throughout the game. So it's really important. And so that's that one. Just an interesting one that came up from the weekend that is worth talking about. So obviously in a marking contest, the spirit of the law is that everyone needs to be going for the ball. And so it's not like the ball's on the ground in contest where you are allowed to bump or shepherd opponent within 5 meters of the ball. In a marking contest, you need to be going for the footy at all times. And so if you bump or shepherd or put a player out of the contest first and then go for the ball, it's a free kick in a marking contest, which is not the case in a general when there's a general play contest on the ground. So when you call play on because the ball hasn't traveled 15 meters, it doesn't mean that you will look at the contest as a general play situation. It's still a marking contest. Even if you're not going to pay a mark, players going up for the ball can't bump, push, do all the things that you would normally pay a free kick for when they're going for the ball. All right. So if you call play on, ball hasn't traveled 15 meters, you can still pay your marking interference free kick. All right. Just wanted to make that clear. Any questions on that one? Something I don't think we've actually talked about before, but if you didn't realise that before, keep it in mind for next time that you call player not 15. You can still play a marking interference free kick. For your first and second year field umpires, we've got skill drills this Wednesday night, so bring a whistle out. Obviously, new umpires are really encouraged to attend those sessions. I will put it in the coaching notes just about the goal umpire jackets. The new ones are in, obviously, for the field umpires on the line tonight. It's not of interest, but these notes go out to all the boundary and goal umpires as well. All right, so they're all the things I want to get through. Any questions from any of that or anything else that happened on the weekend that anyone wants to raise? All right. Sean, you're talking, you need to unmute yourself. I can see you trying to talk, Sean, but you're still muted. Okay. There you are. Yeah, go for it, mate.
Played about 6 or 7 sling tackles on the weekend, just because of the way the play was going. One of the girls' games I did on Saturday night, it was quite a rough sling, but I played the sling tackle when I played a 25 meter as well.
Why?
Is that the kind of thing?
So you're obviously not on these Zooms regularly or not reading the notes, mate. We discussed this a couple of weeks ago. So in
Yeah,
Sanford
okay.
Juniors, they pay an
Yeah,
automatic 25 for dangerous tackles. That is not our rule.
yeah, okay.
So
Yeah, but it was just
the only reason you would pay 25 is if you paid a dangerous tackle and then something else happens. Maybe they turn around and give you abuse, or they,
yeah,
they do something else that warrants another free kick. Please,
yeah,
we all need to remember, don't just hand out 25s for no reason. Like it's same with the yellow cards. I had it again on the weekend. Someone gave a yellow card for an incident that they paid a free kick for, and they paid a 25. I don't understand why we're all doing that. Like at the
yeah,
end of the day, a 25 is for a second free kick. You
yeah.
know,
Okay.
if they turn around and give you abuse or whatever. Now, I understand with dangerous tackles in Sanford Juniors, that's what they're doing, but it's not our rule.
Yeah, I haven't done any other 25 meters in any other game except for this one. It was a women's game down at Glenunga, and what happened was I was going to play the sling tackle initially, and then she continued on and really slung around after it, and so
Yeah, but it's the
that's
one
why.
slim tackle, Sean. It's the one slim tackle. Okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
if well, from what you're saying, you should be paying a free kick and giving a yellow. If you're really
Okay,
concerned
yeah,
about it to do something else, it's a free kick and a yellow card. It's not a free kick and a 25.
yeah, cool. No worries.
All right. The yellow the 25 meters just panning out willy-nilly for no reason is starting to get a little bit annoying because I have discussed it over and over. But yeah, just make sure we get that clear in our head. Yeah. Anyone else? We actually had a pretty quiet weekend for red cards. Sean was the only one. His first ever umpire abuse. That's the only red card that we had for the weekend, which is incredible. Uh, It was very cold, Makita, but often when you get the wet weather, you get a rise in reports. It's yeah, not this weekend. But yep, we just need to stay on our guard. You never know what's going to happen this week. All right, so let's get on to the coaching video. Yeah, just bear with me. So if I can make this a full screen. And I'll see if I can put some volume to it. There we go. All right. Who's had a look at it that wants to have a crack at the first one? Someone that hasn't spoken much before. A few here with their face hidden. Aiden Clemens, can you unmute yourself?
Yeah, hey Colin.
Have you had a chance to have a look at it?
Yeah, I have.
Beautiful. All right, I think you got a pretty easy one, first one. Tell us.
Corner. Yeah, she's just a slog right now.
You can see Sagrahata pretty happy to take this lead in. They wouldn't want Paynham to break free.
All right, that was from last year on a game weather lock we had on the weekend. What did you see there, mate?
Probably I was thinking about this on game day. I'd probably just ball it in because the umpire throw it in because the boundary umpire's signal touched. Like from this angle, it's pretty clear that he's whacked it really hard straight towards the boundary.
Okay.
But it is very wet, and yeah, who knows where he was trying to whack it. So I'd probably err on the side of throwing it in, but it does look pretty deliberate from the camera angle.
Go with what you first saw. So at the end of the day, we don't pay too many deliberate out of bounds. But as you said, he's just whacked it over the boundary line. So
yeah,
the reason we wouldn't pay it is if you can justify him trying to tap it out to another player or tap it up the ground. But when it's that obvious, he's just whacked it straight over the line.
Yeah.
That has to be a free kick.
Yeah.
It's a clear, deliberate out of bounds. We don't pay him too often, but yeah. Go with what you first saw. And
okay. Yeah, I thought about it and I was like, oh, I sort of gave him the benefit, but no, I can pay him.
All right. So Shane Harris, my umpiring coach for 20, whatever it was, 15 years. He said,
I know Shane, yeah.
Don't think. Just do what you see. Like if you stop and think, oh, should I, shouldn't I, then you're probably not going to pay it. But see that, and we're not doing an insufficient attempt. We're not looking for those borderline decisions. We're just looking for the ones where they whack it out like that.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
No worries.
Good on you, mate. Who's Mackie's iPhone? Who's that?
That's Michaela Harrison, Colin.
Hey, Michaela, how you doing?
Good, thanks yourself.
Yeah, excellent. One of our very good first-year umpires. Doing well, Michaela. So, have you had a chance to have a look at the video?
Yeah, sure have.
Excellent. All right, give us your thoughts on the
Race is on now as the ball comes back towards half-back. Harwood. It's going to be tackled. Umpire circling like a shark again. But once again, he crosses his arm.
What do you reckon?
This one I found a bit hard, but I found that he ended up like rotating his body to cover the ball and just dropped himself instead of like trying to knock it out of the that group. So I thought maybe holding the ball.
Okay. So you're saying holding the ball because he's over the ball and causes the ball up?
He rotated himself over the ball and then like didn't try to get it out.
Yep. Okay. I'm going to tell you my thoughts in a minute, and you're not wrong, but I'm sure there's someone else that has a different opinion. So, someone else want to come on and have a go at what they thought. So, come on, someone with a bit of courage, but doesn't necessarily think it is holding the ball.
Yeah, I'll go.
Adam, fire away, mate.
Yeah, I thought the second bloke came in and scooped it back under the first bloke, so I was happy with the ball up.
Okay, that's what I'm looking for. So, I actually, if I was observing this, and I actually did look through this game and just see some more examples of this on the coaching video, I'd probably mark you correct on either one, because I'm actually with Adam. I reckon the tackler brings the ball back underneath, so I'm happy with a ball up. But if you're not on an angle to see it, and I actually think Joel would have had trouble seeing that tackler bring it back under. If you're in any doubt, we are on the side of paying holding the ball in that instance. So, player on top of the ball takes possession, causes the ball up, we pay holding the ball. The only reason you wouldn't pay it is if you see the tackler bring the ball into the player, or there's multiple hands on the ball. So I think, Adam, you're probably right in that instance. And I did mark Joel correct in the assessment of that. However, similar situation, and you don't see the player bring the ball back in, just pay holding the ball. And because the player is on the ground and lying over it. So Michaela's not wrong either. It's one of those 50-50 ones. And if we're not sure, we just pay holding the ball in that instance. Does that make sense? But yeah, if you're not going to pay holding the ball, it's because you believe the tackler's brought the ball in, or there's multiple hands on the ball, and probably the tackler does bring it in. All right. Frank, I'm going to get you to unmute yourself. I know you come and say a bit on these Zooms, but I'm interested in your thoughts on the next one. You've had a look at the video?
Yeah, I've had a look.
Cool. Why are you wearing your porky? I was expecting you to wear your porky today.
I just packed a phone bag on my way in the southeast for work. So
okay, very good. All right, here we go.
Come on, huh? Can't be.
What's your thoughts?
yeah, I'm not going to lie. I looked at this a couple of times actually. I'm not sure who the other team is. Obviously, Salisbury North's one of them. But that Salisbury North player that's clocked the footy and then he is tackled. Obviously, they're both standing up. and then the ball looks like it's pinned. But Salisbury North player with the footy instigates the lift, and then obviously drops the player down to ground. So definitely I'd be paying the free kick to the opposition in that instance, regardless of who had the footy because of the action. And then, probably a card.
Okay. So you're saying against Travis McIntyre?
Yeah, I think he's the one that initiates that lift, because the second time I looked at it, I don't know what that other team is, but that player is standing and basically doing what I think we want the players to do when that ball looks pinned, is standing them upright and not taking them to ground with the second action. I think the Salisbury North player actually lifts him and dumps him.
Yep. All right. Interesting. I saw Mark Good shaking his head. He's still shaking your head. Come on, Mark, unmute yourself and tell us what you think.
Okay, I thought I had good tackle without prior, no chance to dispose of ball by hand or foot. So it's a ball up.
Yeah. Okay. So I take both of your points, and I wouldn't lose sleep if you paid a free kick against Travis. So this is Travis McIntyre. So this is the Salisbury North player that we had all sorts of problems with last year for drawing free kicks. So he was the one that used to duck his head a lot and plays for free kicks like we don't have any other player in the league. He's out this year because I think he's done an ACL, unfortunately. So we're sort of on guard when we're umpiring him anyway. So he's trying to get a free kick here. He launches himself back trying to get a free kick. And I think it is quite dangerous, him launching back. So I'm not against Frank doing what Frank says and paying a free kick, because his action is somewhat dangerous. But I'm also not unhappy with just a ball up, as long as we're communicating to Travis saying, hey mate, stop trying to play for free kicks. That was your action that did that. And so I'm sitting on the fence here. I'm not giving you a very good direction, but I actually showed it to John Kennedy and others in the office today, and they thought they were just happy with the ball up. They thought a free kick was a bit of an overreach. But if you have a concern about player safety, him doing that, what he did, and he does knock the player out, it is a free kick and maybe a card. So it's a really interesting case. And at the end of the day, if you're paying a free kick against someone that does something that is dangerous, we can't, and it is a player safety issue. I'm not going to be critical of that. So I think it's one of these really unusual cases. As long as we don't pay a free kick to Travis McIntyre, the player with the ball he's clearly the one that's doing the wrong thing here. So Mark, just unmute yourself. You are very adamant about not paying a free kick against him. Why would you be against that so much?
Well, I just think the action of the tackler was that he grabbed him without prior. So when you haven't got prior and no chance of getting a handball or a kick, and you both fell to ground, it was an awkward tackle, and it might have been some action that you didn't like, but it's a tackling action where they both went to ground. I certainly wouldn't be paying a free kick.
No, so Mark, so Frank is not saying that it's a free kick against the tackler. He's saying it's a free kick against the player with the ball, because Travis McIntyre has launched himself back, trying to get a free kick, and therefore actually endangering the tackler.
Yeah, but what are you paying the free kick for? What's the definition of the free kick?
Rough conduct.
Rough conduct free kick.
Yeah, so it's actually a player safety issue. What the player with the ball does, he instigates that player who's doing the right thing, tackling properly. He launches himself back, and that player who's tackling actually is in danger of a head contact.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think I see why you were so vigorously shaking your head, because you were thinking we were suggesting it's free kick against the tackler. No.
I'm thinking, I understand what you mean, but I wouldn't have paid the free kick against the guy with the ball.
Yeah, I think it's such an unusual situation. You're not going to. I reckon I've been umpiring for I don't know however long. I don't think I've ever seen anything like this. It's not going to be one that we're going to see every week.
Yeah.
And on that basis, I'd be balling it up, but having a word to him and saying, "Pull your head in, stop doing that. Next time it happens, I'm going to pay free kick against you." All right.
Yep.
Very, very interesting one. All right, let's go with the rest of the video. So today's message is reacting to what happens. So obviously don't go looking for free kicks. Just jump
Kakura
out.
couldn't quite get
So
there.
a couple of opportunities.
Oh, there's a
that one
you
is
really
just
can't swing a
played
player around if they haven't
contest.
got the football, and that's what
Just
Connor Hartshorn did.
not looking to blow the whistle here. The ball spills loose, no prior. Ball player's over it, but he taps it out, gets it out, and then as he's right for the free kick for a sling tackle is paid down the field. A really good
even the
umpiring
sweep against
from
he's certainly playing the old sentiment of sweep
just be quiet here for
and
the
here's
commentators
Davis.
to have a say here.
First to it. Needs to be clean. He's taken head high. Might have maybe even played for it. And Uncle Crosby Sweater says, no, Abe, sorry, there's nothing there.
Crosby's turning into the Ray Chamberlain of the Adelaide Footy League. We know who he is, but that was good.
All right, sorry. For those that didn't hear that, the commentators called Andrew Crosby the Ray Chamberlain of the Adelaide Footy League. Essentially, Abe Davis in situation is playing for a free kick. He jumps himself forward. Cros lets it go because doesn't see anything obvious and blatant, and again just reacts to what happens. So important while you're out there moving around to keep moving, so you can keep seeing the players' head and shoulders, and that way you're going to pick up the
pushing it forward with Hill dispute. Great work by Sheffield. Deserves to get a possession out of this. Instead will get tackled high and will get a free kick.
I think that's Alex there. Really, if you go back and watch that again, he moves. I'll see if I can do it. You can see how well he moves to get more distance between him and the ball. And
pushing it forward with Hill dispute. Great work by Sheffield. Deserves to get a possession out of this. Instead will get tackled high and will get a free kick.
And he's got the angle to
Big crude from Cal Flanagan.
You can get two.
Immediately set up.
Similarly here, Matt
the umpire will
throws the
ball it up.
Gets out.
Really impressed with Christopher Olsen's work so far in this game. There's a free call here, and it looks like it may be going the way of Teachery Gully. And
he's been great today.
After a ball up
McKay goes down.
The lead up, but
and they'll take a free kick, will he? Yep.
Yeah, McKay taken high there. Came off second best of Gununga player.
Free kick. So again, our motto is taking the ball player.
One way, the other way, Bainbridge. Oh, it gets caught. The kick's only a little one. It's going to be. Oh, he's been called for a swing tackle after he did manage to get rid of the ball.
Coming down the ground.
Initially called play on, and then realizes that the tackle dumps him. There's a couple of examples here from the Div 7 grand final. So it was Joel and Rashi that did that last year. If you want a good example of a grand final where it's tight and close and lots of pressure, and they just react to what happens, go watch the last quarter of Div 7 grand final last year. Even the losing coach came up to me this year and said how well it was umpired, and it was one of those games where you could have paid a soft free kick or missed an obvious one and cop criticism, but they did really well in that grand final to let things go and pay what needed to be paid, and that sling tackle was one that needed to be paid. This one here,
working through his crosser, looking for McMahon. McMahon to Schwartz. Schwartz has had an almost day. He's taken without the ball.
Obviously being held.
He'll line up for his second. Lockie Bill very quickly when he got put out.
Goes long inside 450. Goes out the back.
One play go.
Can they hold on? Some good work there by Dean. Taken down by two. Push in the back to start us off.
Somebody gets in there and reward the player, go for the ball. So there are times where you can de-escalate hitting situations by using communication skills.
Oh, a little bit.
This is Cam McLeod.
Ray on that far side, through centre wing.
Important in these situations when there's no obvious free kicks and the players are obviously focusing on pushing and shoving themselves, that we get them focusing on what's coming next. So in this case, it's the throw-in. And Cam's saying, cut it out. We're about to throw it in. He's encouraging the boundary umpire to throw it in quickly. Obviously, if he saw high contact, if he saw something, a really clear, obvious hold and someone being thrown to the ground, you'd pay that as a free kick. In this case, they're both holding each other. They're not doing anything too silly. And
club here too, Matt.
it's just good communication to get the refocus, and they do. So here again, that Div 7 grand final.
And now he's got to get the surely he still gets a free kick here.
A free kick has been played. By using his voice, they all clear away.
And James
and they move to the next position.
Trying to lift his side. They're down by 7 points.
Would have carried on if
There's going to be a penalty here.
In this case here, this is the Div 4 grand final for last year. So I think Nathan has just paid a 25. And he's concentrating on getting the play moving. The player with the 25 has is moving down to where Nathan is. Marek, as the other umpire, comes in. Our focus in this situation is to keep the game moving, so that's where Nathan's going. But Marek can assist here, which he does, comes in and uses his communication skills to get them to break up.
So Parks demonstrating over there.
You can see by having
so
a
ball
presence,
ends up
by communicating,
with Brown. He goes out wide. Solomon.
And Nathan gets the game moving. So moving on to the holding the ball situation. If there's a prior opportunity, the rule is they must handball or kick immediately. So this first one, long as prior opportunity, he's tackled here, hold the whistle, gets the handball out. So I think I was on, who was I with on the weekend? In the women's game I was on with, and the umpire was in the second year. And so the advice I gave at halftime was, in those situations, you can see the players had a prior opportunity. You can see they're about to get tackled. Don't be too quick on blowing the whistle for holding the ball, because as in that situation there, they can get the handball or kick out. And if you're too quick on blowing the whistle there, sometimes you can blow holding the ball too quickly. So rightfully, in this case, the player gets the handball out and the umpire calls play on. Play continues. Again, for opportunity, tackle. Now, if you bounce the ball and in the process of bouncing you are tackled, it's automatically holding the ball. So you blow the whistle for holding the ball in that situation straight away. That rule changed from many years ago. I think it was Kevin Bartlett used to get tackled and throw the ball out as he was bouncing, and it was called play on. But yeah, so bouncing while you're being tackled, you obviously have to have been tackled, but in that instance, it's holding the ball. In this case here, so there is a prior opportunity. It's not a big prior opportunity, but he could have got a handball or kick out. And then tackled.
This just overruns it. He'll work back hard. They've got more time. They've got more space. You don't have that much time and space, though. This is a Div 1 grand final. He needs to be very careful now. Umpire says you've got to give it back. I don't think you have to.
What happens after you've seen that there's a prior opportunity, and again, that definition of prior opportunity is a chance to handball or kick. So a reminder of our strong stance with if the player's on the ground and they take possession, they cause the pack to develop, that's where you want to penalise them. We want them to keep their feet, but if they don't keep their feet, we want them to knock it clear. These cases here.
Towards Doward, 1 on 3. Could be paid, not given.
Player goes to ground.
Donahue almost going high. Hosking didn't want to pick it up, and Donahue more desperate.
Pulls the ball up.
Second look at the ice cream. Umpire's holding the ball.
And holding the ball. And then gets a 25.
And I think they've given away a
back as well. So good
stripped off him. Umpire was going back and vision was obscured.
Again, players on the ground.
Circling.
Tucks the ball underneath him.
This is usually holding the ball when they're circling like this.
And
free kick
really
given to Rich. Ball up. So Pittman.
Cam again here. Players on the ground.
Both teams feeling each other. His umpire's called holding the ball.
Good strong decision to penalise.
Again, we want that player. So free kick given to Glenunga.
And just an example of letting the play go. So if there's no obvious and blatant free kicks and the ball comes free, just let it go. So John keeps on the move here. Could be a little bit further back, but I like the fact that he's moving around the pack. There's nothing obvious and blatant there.
Great handball. Russo's the target, I would have thought. Ball spills the ground. Russo goes one way. Johansson.
Wrong. Footing.
Needs a loose ball taken from Salisbury North. Now much better pressure, isn't it? Now they've pushed up the ground.
And the umpires did well just to let it go. And this is the big centre record. Potentially a keeping in danger there, but if you look at that again, the player does hold the kick back.
It's hot in the middle here. At the back. Gets it back as far as...
You can potentially play keeping in danger there. But let's take that out. Everything else here is
Schroeder tackled, spins around, gets it out.
Good tackling, nothing high. No for opportunities.
This is such an important contest. Eventually it's locked in.
That was at a stage of the game where there's 5 points difference in the closing minutes of that grand final. So yeah, the last message, hold the whistle, keep adjusting to be 20-25 minutes away and only pay the obvious and black. All right, that's the coaching video. Any questions or comments on any of that? Anything else before we wind up for this evening? No? All right. We've got the skill drill. So first, second year umpires bring your whistle for Wednesday night. Everyone else training as usual. I did ask Matt to make sure that we didn't finish training too early. Previously, they were finishing at like 20 and it just like I'd rather go a bit longer. Then last week he sort of made up for it, went to 6:45. So we're gonna find that right in between. I don't want you hanging around too long either. I want you coming out and getting a decent workout. And so Matt's gonna try and finish the session on Wednesday night at about 6:30. So yeah, that will be the plan going forward. Not too short, not too long. And of course, if you have other things that your body needs, you don't want to join in the main group, there's no questions asked either. We just want everyone coming out and joining in. And if you need to train on your own and your body needs a lighter session or a heavier session, you can do that. But yeah, Matt will set a program that will finish about 6:30. And look forward to seeing you all there.